but it's still not
Hi,
going
good
to come up.
afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here, Smart Business Moves. Better late than never, but we're going to rock it today with Michele Shaw. Hey, Michele, how are you today?
Hey, I'm very good. Thank you. Thanks for letting me on the show again.
What do you mean again? This is the first time didn't count.
We're going to try.
Michele was our guest last week, I'm guessing Wednesday, Tuesday. I forget, it's all a blur, but we had some technical issues. It happens, and Michele wasn't really able to join us, but you know, we got all that fixed, and we're going to learn a lot today about financial things that we can do, planning and benefits for our employees. Where are you today? Huh?
Yeah, I always, it won't let me go live without volume. So I always have to like hide it, but we're good now. Okay.
You doing okay today?
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying. So you said Leslie was on, but I didn't see her. Is she on?
Oh, no, I saw a comment pop up, but I don't even know where. I didn't really read the comment.
So we have a few people, Michele, that come every day. Well, most days, 99% of the time. Leslie, I wish we were at my office and you could see. Leslie is one of the people that almost always comes to our lives. And I have a painting in my office that is usually in my home office that's usually right behind me. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Marlo. And she painted it. And so I wish you could see it. It's lovely.
Wow.
You'll see it. Oh, you've probably seen it actually
So
on one of our other
she's
calls.
a talented artist.
Yeah, she is. And she runs the cleaning company. Hey, Linda. So you guys, today we've got Michele, and she's going to talk to us about. Actually, we're not going to do this now. First, Tom's got to do a little work.
Gonna make me work? Well,
yeah.
We're going to hear from Michele here in just a moment. Tomorrow, Amy Willard's going to be joining us. Amy Willard, I guess as a former house cleaning business owner, at least for the moment, she's taking a sabbatical. She lives in Colorado, I think somewhere around Denver, maybe. She came to the conclusion earlier this year that she wanted to quit her cleaning business. So she basically dissolved it. And she's going to be sharing with us tomorrow, how, I guess taking us from the beginning and how she, got to that point and the things that contributed to that conclusion and what she's learned from that process and what we can learn from that thought process. And I guess there's things that we can all take away from that in terms of what we all might be thinking about and how we go about doing things moving forward.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love her too.
Yeah, she's doing some blogging now, and I mean she's a really good writer, and I mean she's a multifaceted person, has a lot of talents. I guess we'll hear a little bit about that too.
Yeah. She's also getting ready to start some new thing that's a big secret. I don't know if she'll announce that tomorrow or not. Maybe.
What is it, Liz?
I'm not telling. But she might tomorrow. We'll see. But she is doing some blogging. And the thing about Amy's blogging that is really nice is it's in a real tone. Like she blogs like just a regular average person. It doesn't sound ultra professional or using big words or making it hard for people to read. It's very, very engaging. So I'm sure we'll have some examples of that too. And then we've got our secret guest. And Tom, I see you switched. You got the title fixed for Thursday. Ooh, I almost said the person's name.
It's like,
do that.
Liz, well, I can't tell you the secret. Well, sometimes you do tell us the secret, Liz.
That's a fact. I have been known to blow a secret now and again. That's true. All right, so I've got a hint for us for our secret guest on Thursday, though. This business owner throws an annual community event and where she invites all of her customers and cleaners and everything. And they have like a big, huge party that is very well attended. Unlike the ones that most of us hear about all the time that are hardly attended at all. Hers get a lot of people. They have games and prizes, and it's a very, very fun day, which I hope she'll tell us a little bit about that.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. So a lot to look forward to over the balance of the week. A lot to look forward to today. Michelle, you want to just start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I have been in the finance industry for about 5 years now, and I love it. I love watching people have those aha moments like, oh, wow, it's that easy. And I'm married. I have 2 kids. One is a pilot, and she's going for her commercial license. So I got to actually fly with her a couple weeks ago. I'm very proud of my baby.
Was it scary?
And is, I don't know, for those that are in Washington, when she said that she was going to be a pilot, we kind of like went pros and cons. And for some reason, I had like this little inner peace, like, it's going to be okay. Just support her. And you know what? I went up with her. She was spectacular. Nervous. She did everything right. So we landed. So that's a good thing.
Obviously. Right? That's...
That was good. Yep. Is older. He goes to UW, and he's a master's student there. So he is doing structural engineering. Both occupations about 6 months ago was probably great. Now, let's see, the flight industry is taking a different turn, and commercial buildings are also taking a different turn since everybody's working home. So I guess you never know what's going to happen next, right? In the
very true
2020 realm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of...
So I've been helping people with finances.
No, your children have a lot of career ahead of them. This whole thing we're dealing with now is just a momentary blip.
Well, we're all saying momentary blip,
and they're very passionate about it.
I mean, it's an unprecedented event, don't get me wrong. But, if I'm sitting here and I'm 20-something years old fretting over, well, my career is blown. No, people are going to be building buildings for a long time.
Yeah. Those jobs are going to be around for a while.
That is true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Then I think, so a wonderful husband who also does the business with me. He is downstairs working on the computer with, his laptop. It's kind of, I don't know, crapped. Let's just put it that way. So he's stressing. So we have a computer guy downstairs. So, so that's a little bit about me, and what I love to do. So most of that is about money, and most people don't like to talk about money, but I love talking about money, and it's just the mind, how we start thinking about money, and yeah. So anybody have in the chat box what they want to learn about money? I'll answer them if I can.
Well, Michelle, the main thing that I wanted you to come on the show about, we talked about, is how can we help our employees? Like, what could we do for our employees to help them be more financially secure? Maybe get them on the path to buying a house, and just having their own money. Like, I want to be able to money.
Right.
Leslie says money is a fun game. Leslie says.
It is a fun game. It is a fun game. So there's a couple of things that we can do. One is being educated about money. So I had a whole slide presentation set, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to bore people with that. But one is that people should help their employees or talk to them about money on having 3 separate, right? And you should have an emergency account for like what happened this year. People are out of work for a couple months at a time, right? And then we talk about an intermediate account. And this is something that everybody should have, and you should be talking to your employees about, is an intermediate account. And that is an intermediate account which means that it's not in a bank earning less than 1% interest, okay? Because you're actually giving the bank money and you're actually losing money over time, right? So think of it this way. Let's say you had, I don't know, let's just say you had a couple $1,000s in the bank, right? At the end of the year, at a 1% interest, you made $100, right? Yeah, I made $100. Well, $25 went to taxes. So you had a net profit of $75. Well, you had inflation rates of 3%. So now that 3% just went to, you actually, instead of having, say, $2,000 in the bank, you actually have like 900 and some odd $1,000 or $900 in the bank, right? So we're losing money in the bank. So we have to have our employees go, where can I go and find something that is more than 3%, more than 1%? So we do an intermediate account. We're between 3 and 6%. Very safe account, but those are for like your dreams. Like, I want to buy a house in a year, or maybe I want to take that ultimate trip, right? That's going to cost more than a couple $100s, right? And so we start saving and paying you first, right? And I'll get into that in a minute. And then the third one is, set it and forget it, right? That's your retirement account. And so if you have, most employees can't do a 401k. You guys don't have enough employees unless you have like thousands of people or over 100 in your business, which I believe this is just a small business. You can actually help them start saving. And we do what's called a payroll deduction, which the employer can have the employee sign saying, hey, I'm going to take X amount of money out of your pay before I pay you, and I'm going to help you invest, which is sometimes the easiest way to go, right? And so that way.
Liz?
Is there a minimum, Michelle?
Me or you, Liz?
It looked like you to me, but it probably looks like me to you. Who's raising Tom? Is it me or Michelle?
I think Michelle was for a moment, but you held your hand up, and I don't think you were frozen, but you were like.
I was just waiting for her to stop talking and ask my question. I can't tell.
Or so. I mean, you were. Go ahead.
Okay, so Michelle, I was asking, is there like for the payroll deduction, is there a minimum?
No, there's not a minimum. So it kind of goes on an individual basis. And that's the rule. That's the cool thing about it, is that you can actually help your employees save. So, and that's something that, we can help. But yeah, so it's not anything that big, and you don't have to contribute to that, right? But you do kind of look like a savior, because now you're helping your employee start saving, right? And that's just the start.
Yeah, I do like this idea of getting them on the path of saving, because a lot of people don't know how to save, and the idea of having a payroll deduction is awesome, because once it's come out a few times, they don't even notice that money anymore, especially if it's a small amount. It kind of goes up.
Yep. And it's just small habits. Everything that you do is a small habit, right? Is if it's $25 a week, or whether it's $25 every paycheck, it's just something small. And here's the caveat: it's of no cost to the employee. So it's no cost to do that, basically. Just a little bit on the front end, and then as the employer, you obviously have to remember to take that out, right? And then pay them. So yeah, that we set it up, It's a win-win for both, because you, the employer, is helping them save for retirement or an emergency fund or whatever, right? Whatever they set it up to, and then they, it's their money, right? If by the end of 25, 30 years, if they're like, hey, I'm gonna go somewhere else, hey, guess what? Money is theirs. They take it, and they're so it's a win-win for everybody. And you don't have to, and it's not a high cost at
all. Are there penalties for taking their money out?
Yes and no. It depends on what they want to pick. So they're going to have to pick something. If they want it to go into a retirement fund, then if they take money out, or there is a penalty, because everything has rules for it. But if they just want it as an intermediate account, maybe that's what you're helping them with, right?
Yeah.
And taking that out and it's all online, so they can see their money grow from their computer or their phone or whatever, and they can kind of use it that way. So we can do a qualified account or a non-qualified account. So this is something that, we would discuss with them before we set it up.
So does
that answer your question?
Yeah. So Leslie is saying that she does a 401k matching at 4%. That sounds 4%. Like yeah.
Yep. So absolutely, you can do 401k, you can do matching. It's up to the employer what they want to offer. So some of the bigger companies, you can do that. They're Leslie, how much do you pay for that 401k for your employees?
It'll probably take her a minute to respond.
I'm sure it's a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, absolutely.
And Marlo is saying she missed it. What kind of account is this? Do I set it up with my bank? So how does it get set up?
No. So this is usually through a financial broker or financial coach like myself. It gets set up, and we deal with mutual funds or indexes or stuff like that. We kind of set it up for you, and that way it's just an automatic payroll deduction for them, But yeah, I mean, there's also 401k you can offer. That's another way to go. You can match. You don't have to match. That's a much longer discussion than what we'll have time to allow here, and it's more customized and personal that we can do.
More customized than what?
You can also it's kind of customized to the particular business that we would want to have a different conversation with. And then the employer can go into and do a whole different one, like they could do a SEP as well, or which is another one that they can offer as a business, and they can put more money into a SEP. But those are all different ways that you can help your employees.
When you say SEP,
and a SEP is how you can help yourself.
What does that stand for, Michele?
What is SEP? Okay, so it is what a SEP is. A SEP is a simple employee program where it's for the employer, and you can add like all of your employees. It's kind of on the lines of a 401k. Okay, but it's called a SEP because
that would be different than a simple. Would that be different than a simple IRA?
Than a simple IRA?
Yeah, would that be different?
So, no, this is same. Is this a simple? Is for, so there's a simple, and then there's SEP. There's two.
What's the difference?
So yeah, so there's two.
And what's the difference?
So the difference is huge. Okay, so a simple basically is just you have to make sure I get it right. So a simple is you have to contribute to your employees' IRAs a SEP, you do not. Okay.
Oh.
So that's it in a nutshell, basically, you know, so, and some of them, you know, you have to have at least, you know, maybe 50 to 100 employees as well. So I don't know on that scale.
Okay.
So those are 3 different options you can give out to your employees. One is if you're really small, you can just do a payroll deduction. You can do a 401k. You can do a SIMP and a SIMP, simple IRA, and a SEP, right? Oh, sorry.
So it does sound like there are a lot of options.
There are a ton of options out there, you know, and it's just all of them are customizable to you and your size of business. So it's not a cookie cutter one fits all, and that's you know, it's good and it's bad. You know, some people just want, you know, I just want a simple program for my employees, this and done. But it's never simple. And that way you have people who manage accounts, because that's what their job is to make sure that it's simple for you, but you got to discuss it first.
Right. You still have to know what you're talking about, what you're getting into. Okay.
Absolutely. Right. You know, but the good thing is, you know, we're all out there to each other and make the businesses profitable, and we're always out for helping your employees. Right. And the first thing that you have to do with your employees is, another thing is, what kind of debt, right? And I know that gets into personal, but if your employee is stressed about their debt and how much they owe, and they don't understand credit card debt, they're always going to be looking for someone who's going to pay me more. Someone who's going to pay me more because I can't get out of this debt cycle, right? So that's why we have the 3 accounts. We have the emergency, the intermediate, and then the retirement. And then they are a little bit more equipped to handle their finances, because they've learned about it, right? Oh, I have an emergency fund, so now I can relax, right? Or I have that other fund that I'm just putting into for a rainy day fund.
Yeah.
Or a college fund. You figure it out, whatever you want, but you know, as long as they have a plan in place, both the employer can help them achieve that plan as well.
Well, you know, back in the day, I used to have this profit sharing thing, not profit sharing. This they would have a group that was set up like this, and I would do some matching. And it was not popular back in the day at all, especially with the young people. They're like, nah, you know, I don't, they didn't even really understand it. But it seems like the people that I have employed now are more sophisticated. They are more aware of financial security, and they are thinking more about it. It's not just about how much they're making per hour. They do want more. And so I was really thinking that it might make a good sense to have them set up an account with sort of a matching thing. And at different levels in the company, I would match at different rates, you know, so brand new employee, you know, maybe we're matching in 0.5%. And as they stay in the company longer, or they grow in the company and they start doing different things in the company, that we start matching at a different rate. But for me, I really need it to be easy. It has to be easy for me. Like, if it's going to be this huge hassle, then I'm not in for something like that. So I do like the idea of having some sort of a simple plan. So how, like,
yeah,
go ahead.
And some of them are very clear that you have to be consistent across the board. So only doing 0.5% for this person and 2% for that person is can be construed as them.
Oh,
So
okay.
some will let you do that.
Okay. So,
See what I'm saying? So
is
it's
it
easier, you know, like, go ahead.
so is there something you can do like for people that have been with your company 90 days versus people that have been with your company for 2 years? Or does it have to be the same in that case as well?
So those are, you could do bonuses, and you can do an opt, like, hey, I'm going to give you a bonus for doing this. Would you like me to put that toward your, you know, that invested?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
I do. Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
So I do know that I have had people in the past that opted to put their raise, the amount that was for the raise into their, I can't even remember what we had. It wasn't, I don't think it was a 401k. I'm thinking it was a money market, but I can't really remember what it was. Too long ago now. But I just think that we need some in the market now. You know, it's the
yes.
The people have too many different options right now, and everybody is more focused on the money and how much they're making, especially with the, you know, the new minimum wage of $15. So it just feels like, so Leslie, she says hers qualify after 1 year. Okay. Yeah. So that makes sense, Leslie.
Okay.
Qualifying after 1 year.
Yep.
And Leslie, who do you go
So
through
I
for
have
your
a simple, a Roth, and a traditional. Roth is where I'm focused right now. That is absolutely correct, Leslie. That's where you should. And the reason being is that, so just a simple tutorial. So a simple, a Roth, and a traditional IRA. Okay, all has to do with tax.
Tax what?
Okay, so some grow tax deferred, meaning that, and then some are taxed. So your simple and your traditional, let's just say, Liz, you have $100,000 at retirement, and you have a simple IRA. And Tom, you have a Roth IRA, and you too have $100,000 at retirement. Okay, so Liz starts taking her deductions. So Liz and Tom are taking, you know, $2,000. Like, yeah, my first deduction. And you, Liz, actually get, instead of $2,000, you probably get $1,500. Tom takes out $2,000, and Tom actually gets the whole $2,000.
The taxes are paid up front in the Roth.
Correct. Right. So the taxes are paid up front, but it grows exponential, right? So Liz, pull money out each month, you're paid because Uncle Sam's going to get paid one way or the other.
Right.
But at retirement, I don't want to be paying that tax. If it says that I have $100,000 in my account, I want to make sure I have $100,000. I don't want to have to pay taxes on that.
Right.
So absolutely less. So yes.
All right. And I can see how some people would prefer to do it the other way.
Sure.
You know, if they have
so,
more.
If the government's going to. If they have more what?
Sorry, I missed the whole thing.
Yeah, I hear dogs. That's not me.
That's probably Michelle's dog.
I don't know. I don't know what you said. Yeah, those are my dogs. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. We like dogs here. Yeah. So how hard is it to set this up, Michele?
You know, it's not hard at all. It takes
We're being quiet.
He's quiet. And it takes time at all. You know, it takes about a day. You pick the funds. We go over how many, or not a whole day. I mean, a couple hours basically. We pick the funds. We kind of educate the client on what they want. We put them into a choice, and then we just go from there. So we're setting one up for a roofing company right now. About a 30-minute to an hour discussion education, and we will put all their employees on a simple, probably Friday. So it'll take, that's it's about it, and then they'll just doing it from there.
What if I have employees that want to opt out? Is that no problem?
Absolutely. They don't have to have it, so, and that's obviously their choice. Some opt out because they have something else, right?
Yeah.
Or some opt out because there's not a match, right? Or some opt out because it's profit sharing, right? So those are all valid reasons why people opt out of their employer's retirement plan, is because they're like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be here that long. I don't want to do profit sharing. What if we don't make anything this year? Does that mean I get nothing? So they don't really understand that, right? So they absolutely can.
All right, so explain this to me, Michele. Like, it is really hard to hear you. It's like really choppy. And a lot of times on these Zoom calls, it's like that, right? It's hard to connect. How do you talk with the employees? I mean, you can't go to the different states and talk to people. So do they get information by email? Is it a Zoom meeting, along these lines, or how does it work?
Yeah, so some is a Zoom meeting, some is just putting them in touch with a different person in that area that can go a person to person with them. Okay. But we use Zoom. It goes through our it's an encrypted line, so all information is encrypted, so nobody breaks in. It's a pretty good system to have to keep everything confidential. We also do email, Zoom, and stuff like that. Yes.
All right, and you said that there was no minimum, but I remember back in the day there was like a $25 minimum.
Well, yes, $25 minimum. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you can't put like $10. So I'll retract that. There is a minimum. It's usually $25. So yes. Okay.
Because a lot of times I have really employees, especially when they first come to work here, the thought of giving up $25 sounds impossible to them. They're like, I don't have $25. I need every penny.
Right.
So,
and that's where a budget comes into play, and the mindset, right? Do I really need to have that X, right? Because investing now for your future is really hard to see, but having that new widget, that new post, that's immediate, right? So those are much easier to have than what's going to happen in the future. But that's the mindset that we have to go for, right? So if I said you could put your kids to college and have around $60,000 if you would just do $5 a paycheck in 18 years, would you want to change that widget, right? Not go to Starbucks twice a week, or not buy that pair of, I don't know, purse or whatever. So it's just a mindset. It's just reevaluating what's important And that's the hard part. That's the hard part for a lot of people.
So do you have a simple budget, Michelle? We have a budget, sort of a budget worksheet that we give people when they come to work here. But I don't think it's simple enough. I think we need, and I don't want to make it sound like my employees are all not smart and they're all poor. I mean, I'm making my employees sound really bad, but that's not what I'm trying to get across here. It's just that a lot of times this is, it's a lower level job. It's entry level into the workforce. So,
Absolutely.
they're not making a ton of money. And a lot of times they don't have a lot of experience with jobs. So I'm wondering, do you have a budget?
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody that we work with, we have a budget. It's theirs for free, and we revisit it as often as they need it, like every 6 months, every 3 months, whatever they need. I have a person that I call just before the beginning of the month, because I know that I can't stay on track, but if I hear your voice in the back of my head, or I get a text from you, I know I gotta pay my $50 first to myself, and then I need to pay the rest of my bills. So yes, we put them on a budget, but also we help our company, myself, we also help people accelerate paying off their debt, right? Which is really heavy on people's minds, right? And so if you don't have that debt, then, oh my goodness, your paycheck goes a lot longer, further, So we educate people about debt.
Another thing that I run into
budget.
So another thing that I run into with our employees is they are getting their paychecks garnished. So I would say at any point in time, I've had up to 20% of my people having their paychecks garnished, maybe for child support or bad debts in the past. Like you said, they've got, some stuff that they haven't paid. And so talking to those people is a different conversation, because they can't even imagine taking any more money out of their paycheck, right? They're already like, I'm already not making any money. So I feel like the budgeting could maybe help them. Maybe help them to get on track with.
Right.
Okay, and from a selfish point of view, I'm thinking also help them to see how much more they need to work, right? How you want to take a day off every other week? You really need to work every day. You need to work Monday through Friday, all month long, and then have some money so that you can see what's possible.
So, I mean, this is a really good point.
Right.
I love this discussion, because there's a focus on the benefit part of it in terms of how to set up a savings plan, a retirement plan, and maybe it's qualified, maybe it's not, maybe it's funded, maybe it's not. But just if not more important to that is the financial education component that goes along with it, helping people understand how to budget and how to manage their money. Are there any organizations, tools, programs as employers that we could plug into to make that easy for us, something that's scalable?
Well, you can always go to university for one. The other thing is our company, Primerica, we do education for anything, employers, employees. We can do an education. It's probably about an hour or so, really focused in on, maybe just focused in on how we do IRAs. We're just focused in on how money works, right? Or how to put a budget together. And so we do all education classes first. And so those are some things you can plug into. You could plug into, me personally, but I can't be everywhere, every place. but absolutely, any financial person, America, because a lot of the only reason why is that there's fiduciary rules, right? Some people from Edward Jones can't take your clientele; they don't make enough money.
I guess I'm just wondering: is there a nonprofit out there that's not managing investments? It's not like taking people's money and doing something with it. It's just purely education.
Yeah, that's what we do. We do purely education. I mean, yeah, we make it on the back end if something happens, but what we do is all of our education is free. So you can pick our brains, you can do a class. I don't know of other ones that are free. I could get back to you on that, and then you can just put a thing on the next for tomorrow.
It might not exist. I'm just thinking there's probably some .org out there that has a mission of helping, hourly wage workers who aren't necessarily, have a lot of financial, knowledge on how to put together a budget and those types of things.
Right. Well, like I said, it is Primerica, and we do that stuff for free.
Right.
But even people like the reason why is because I was gonna say something, but I'm not, because I'm not 100% sure, so I'll be quiet.
Okay.
But I don't know of any who do it for free. Except for our company. But I'm
Michele,
sure that we're not the only one. I'm sure we're not.
All right, so I have a question, Michele. So you say that the education is free, but like my people are going to need more than like 1 hour, one time to make it happen. What I'm looking for is something more like
absolutely
somebody that can like talk to them every month and check in with them about their budget and how did you do, and I'm looking for something more like that.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's when we do a teaching or we do an education, and as soon as we do a budget, they now became a client. Whether they pay us or they don't pay us, they become a client. It's whatever that person needs to get ahead, because that's what our company stands for, right? We always want to see people, learn about money, be financial independent, and their best, right? And that means that I have to coach you. Like I said, I have a budget. I call this lady every month. She hasn't done one dime with me, but I know that when she gets her money situated and she gets righted again, possibilities are endless, right?
Yeah.
And then she'll refer me to a friend, so it's not always about that person that we're helping. It's the ones that we help along the way.
Okay. Tom, I sent you Michele's email address.
So if you need hand holding.
Yeah, got it. I'm working on adversity here.
I know. I'm like, if you can pull yourself away from Molly. What was that, Tom?
That was a glass of water.
It looked like Molly went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Play.
Her dad just got a bath.
Glass of water everywhere.
Molly's being a bad dog.
So, Tom, you remember when we used to be in meetings when Derek was first dating Laura, and like we would be talking about something really serious, but we could see Derek with like a half smile on his face because he was texting Laura. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's you playing with Molly.
Well, I'm not doing anything to encourage it. She was asleep and I woke her up, so I guess I did. You did. You were that guy, Tom.
Startler.
You were that guy right there. Okay, well, that was
Michele,
funny.
I dropped Michelle's email address in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so you guys, I'm gonna suggest that if you're looking for something for your employees, something for Money Ways, it's really choppy on this thing. It's hard to see. But the reason why I brought Michele on the show today is I was at a mastermind event with her in Olympia. That's the event that I told you about at that mansion, Tom. And so Michele,
the super spreader event you went to?
Yeah, none of us are sick either.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, it was fabulous. But the reason why I wanted Michele to come here is she's got a lot of passion for what she does. And she really is, you guys, about helping people and helping people to build up their financial portfolios. And she really does have this this mindset of helping people to get right with money and to understand money and to know about money and to understand how money works. Because I really do feel like a lot of our people don't get it. They don't get how money works. And the way money works is not, it's not easy for people to understand. So highly recommend Michele. Super easy to work with, super nice, super dedicated to what she does. And I just feel like, and actually, you know, that's what I want to do with my employees is I want to have all of them be on this plan and to be able to set up the, you know, to be getting in on the plan. And my thing is, I think we just get a few people signed up, a few people hooked up. Hey, Aaron. And then everybody being able to see that some people are doing it. Some people are earning more money. Some people are saving. Some people are able to get out of the place that they're in. I think that's motivating. I think that's inspiring for people to be able to see people doing it. You know?
And as employers, I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a hard industry. You know, we talk about the whole return on human capital thing, and we're kind of constrained in terms of what consumers will pay for the services that we offer. Hence, you know, the wages are definitely, you know, dictated by, you know, market conditions. And, you know, a lot of us, you know, I don't think any of us can pay as much as we would like to pay, quite frankly. But there's more that we can do for our employees, our team members, than just give them a paycheck. There's a lot of other, you know, support activities, and this seems like this is really a no-brainer. You know, it's part of it's how much money you're getting, but a bigger part of it is what are you doing with the money that you are getting. And if we can help people figure out how to use the wages that they earn more wisely, that's a noble thing. We're making better jobs if we do that. We're going to get better outcomes in our business.
Yeah, and another thing that made me think of, we're always looking for what we can do for our employees, but a lot of times we pick the things that are not really going to be impactful, that are not noble. Instead, we choose to, and I'm using myself as an example here. Instead, you know, we have breakfast every week. Instead, we're like playing a game and we have prizes. These things are all fun. They're all great. I'm not saying, and I'm talking about myself here, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these things, but I just feel like we could be doing more. We could be doing better for people's long-term, not just satisfaction, their long-term financial health, right? And we could set them up for a better place.
There's no immediate gratification associated with financial planning. So that's kind of the hard thing about it. It's not fun, but you know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's like eating healthy, I guess. There's no immediate gratification in that either, but it's the right thing to do. It's you know, financial health is important.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you.
Think of it this way: if you have a good financial health, it also, if you have good financial health, then, you know, you're gonna, your health, just think of all the stress that you're relieving, right? Because that takes at least 5 to 10 years off your life already, right? So, I mean, so you are actually in the long run also helping with their health.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is very true. I mean, finances are very stressful. I mean, I see our people when they're having financial problems, and it is stressful. Sometimes this is a terrible cycle that my people will get into sometimes. They have to take a mental health day, right? They have to not work because they're so stressed out about their bills.
About not having enough money.
Yes. And I wish I could say that that has only ever happened one time, but that would be a lie. It has happened more times than I want to talk about. I've shared this story a lot of times. I had an employee that routinely took a day off within a pay period. She got paid every 2 weeks at this time. And she would routinely take a day off, at least one day off in the pay period, sometimes two. And she had done that for, I don't know, a year and a half. And then she started trying to save up some money, and she just wanted to start just becoming more fiscally responsible, right? And so she started working every day.
Good.
Yep. And 3 weeks in, or not 3 weeks in, three pay periods, and she was like, I just can't even believe like this thing. It's like so crazy. And I'm like, what? She's like, my paycheck. And I was like, oh gosh, now what? Here we go. And she's like, it's just crazy to me that if I work every day, I can pay all my bills and have extra money. And I was like, yeah. She was like, she worked for me for years, a couple of years at that point. She's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that if I worked every day, I could have cable all the time. And I could always have my phone on. And I could always have power. I was like, what? Have you literally been cycling through like phone, power, water? She's like, yeah, I always don't have something. I don't have my TV, or I don't have. I'm like, what?
So think of how many jobs you could have completed and how many simpler mornings you would have had if she had come to work every day, if she had known that 2 years earlier.
Yes. I really should have given her Michelle's address a long time ago. Doesn't work here anymore.
Well, sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
It's true.
Right? Well, sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you know.
Michelle, go ahead, Liz.
And she hadn't done it long enough. She hadn't worked every week or every day for a long enough period to realize the benefits of just working every day. So it was like just mind blowing for her, I guess. It was interesting.
Well, Michelle, thank you for joining us. We're at the top of the hour here. We're going to be wrapping up in just a minute. Your contact information is here, and if anybody wants more information, you can reach Michelle with her email address. If you haven't subscribed to Cleaning Business Today, it's really simple. Email, first name, last name, doesn't cost anything. You get our newsletters, and I'm going to share our resources page. And Michelle, we have a resources page where not all the time, but when we have guests who have additional information that might be useful to our audience, we'll post here, and it could be links to resources. It could be downloads, a lot of downloads that we have here. If you happen to have any material that you think would be useful, you can share that with us, and we would be glad to post that along with our other resources.
Oh,
that'd be
great. Okay. That sounds great.
Liz, do we have anything else?
Nothing else. I actually have an appointment I have to be to in 17 minutes, so I'm racing out of here. Too.
Okay.
Thanks
Well,
again, Michelle. I really appreciate your coming on and helping us out. You guys, again, highly recommend Michelle. If you're looking for a way to help your employees financially, you're looking for something like to give you that edge in keeping your employees working for you, getting them to come to work for you, maybe this is it. I'm going to try it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we'll see you
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.